Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. A stunning development in this year's New Jersey gubernatorial race. Former chair of the Republican Party in New Jersey, Doug Steinhardt, dropped out of the race this week after announcing he was getting in the race just last month. We talk with former New Jersey Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli, who is now the clear frontrunner to challenge Democratic incumbent Phil Murphy in November. Assemblyman, as always, thanks so much for making time for us today. It was a stunning announcement this week that your leading opponent for the Republican nomination suddenly dropped out of the race. Do you know why that happened?
I really don't, Larry. I have a call into Doug, hoping that he's comfortable in his decision. You'll have to ask him. But listen, I've been on the campaign trail for 3 years now, 11 months as an official candidate. And I think we're starting to see all the fruits of those labors.
Were you surprised?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. The way, yes, it's only been 1 month since he declared. But again, I've been out there for 3+ years working the grassroots of New Jersey's Republican Party, which, by the way, I very much enjoyed doing. And I think a great many people around the state saw me as the front runner in this campaign and the person that they hoped to represent the Republican Party in the gubernatorial race.
You got into the race way before anybody normally gets into a gubernatorial race. You've been running for a year now. And because of the last time, you've been running for almost 4 years. Did that help?
It helped a great deal. And listen, the big takeaway from 4 years ago when I challenged King Guadagno in the Republican primary, I learned that this is the biggest small state in the union, and that as the minority party in this state, you really have to get a good head start, give yourself a lot of runway. That was the big takeaway from 4 years ago, and I think we deployed it with great success. And I'm looking forward now to this campaign over the next 10 months against Phil Murphy. I'm excited for the people of New Jersey.
Well, I Googled your name, as I always do before I talk to you, and item after item was about an endorsement from every part of the state. There was one interesting one. Most were the last couple of days since Doug Steinhardt dropped out, but there was one interesting one from the heavily populated Bergen County that 25 Republican officials endorsed you. Did that have something with Doug Steinhardt making the final decision to drop out of the race, do you believe?
I don't know what it was that he might have been experiencing that as he called people around the state asking for their endorsement. But I will tell you that I'm humbled by the endorsement list that we've got recently out of Bergen County. As we sit here today, there'll be another very impressive list coming out sometime today. There was a very impressive list out of Morris County, Burlington County, Atlantic County. I'd like the geographical diversity of my endorsements. And again, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people are very, very pleased with the effort I've put in over the last 3 years. And they see me as the person who can deliver a victory in November.
You still have two candidates running against you, Hirsch Singh and Joe Rullo. They ran it against you 4 years ago, and Kim Guadagno 4 years ago, and neither of them got 10% of the vote, but they did get some votes. They get 5% and 9%, which is fairly significant. So will you debate them?
Larry, I was confident all along that I was going to win the primary because I believe we've got the best team and we've got the best kind of discipline. I think we've got the best candidate, or I shouldn't be in the race, the best message. From this point forward, this is a race of Ciattarelli versus Murphy, talking to the people of New Jersey about who's got better ideas on how to fix our problems.
So you won't debate them?
I'll be focusing my energies on Phil Murphy.
Let's focus the energies on Phil Murphy then. He had his State of the State a couple of days ago, and you had a blistering reaction. You called it a campaign speech. What did you mean?
There was an awful lot of choreography. I mean, the way he came into the empty theater, the way they filmed it, the different camera angles, very unlike a typical State of the State, not just in terms of the backdrop, but also in terms of the messaging. I mean, yes, every governor deserves the right to talk about what they think are their accomplishments, but we still haven't heard a damn thing about property taxes in this state, the business climate, which is the worst in the nation, our public pensions, the way we do affordable housing, which only makes property taxes higher, and of course his handling on the pandemic, particularly specific to nursing homes, the business community, and schools.
Yeah, I noticed you got his attention almost immediately after Doug Steinhardt dropped out. He launched an attack on you.
This isn't a good week for Phil Murphy, Larry. The word I get out from the Beltway in Trenton is that they would rather not see me as the Republican nominee. But again, I'm very, very happy for the people of New Jersey. This provides a great opportunity to compare the two of us And I think it's going to have a good outcome for Republicans.
You last week released a contract with New Jersey Republicans. First of all, what is that and why was that important to you?
My first job is to fix the state of New Jersey. And as an MBA, CPA, and two-time business owner, I've got very specific ideas on how to fix New Jersey. But I will tell you, as a proud Republican, I want to fix the New Jersey Republican Party too. The New Jersey GOP, the state committee, needs to be a shared resource. And we need to start working better at the grassroots level to develop our party and recruit people of color, recruit females, recruit young people, and just have a much more robust approach to candidate recruitment, fundraising, and winning elections. It's not because I'm a hyper-partisan. Yes, I'm a proud Republican, but democracy works best when both parties are strong. Right now, I don't think the state Republican Party is as strong as it could be. But as the Republican nominee, I become the titular head of the party, and we're going to make some changes. The contract lays out what those changes will be.
Doug Steinhardt, one last question about him. He was a full-throated supporter of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has had a bad couple of weeks. So I have two questions. Did that play in? I know you've answered the question several times, but I want to get your opinion on this. Did that play into him dropping out? Did that hurt him? And how do you feel about Donald Trump at this point? You've always liked some of his policies, but haven't liked what he said.
So listen, Larry, there are Republicans that constantly poke the president in the eye. I think that's un-American. There are Republicans that run in a 24/7 Trump lane. That seemed to be Mr. Steinhardt's approach. Listen, it's no secret that I've never been a big fan of the president's personality. I did support his policies. I think there were 5 or 6 policies that were good for America, and that's why I supported his policies and him as a presidential candidate. But now it's all about New Jersey. And so I'm going to continue to focus on New Jersey and what it is we have to do to fix this state, make sure the middle class gets ahead here.
New Jersey needs help from the federal government. You'll now have a Democratic president. Can you work with Joe Biden?
Sure, I can. It's my obligation. As a representative of 9 million people in the state, it's my obligation, if you will, to work with the president, whoever he or she may be. And the good news is that we may now see things like funding for the Gateway Project and the restoration of the SALT deduction and maybe an end to offshore drilling. Those are 3 issues that I differed with President Trump on that are very important to New Jerseyans.
Well, I can't let go he or she may be. Are you saying that Kamala Harris may be president?
Well, listen, if I get the privilege of serving for 8 years and he decides not to run for a second term, she might be a president, but I would hope not. I'm in disagreement with her policies.
Right. So you're talking about the next term, not this term. I understand. Thank you, sir.
Larry, do you have to be such a good listener?
Always appreciate the time. Thanks again.
Same here, Larry. Thank you.
Republican candidate for governor, Jack Ciattarelli. Now, we did reach out to Doug Steinhardt for comment. He declined to be interviewed. And we have an open offer to Governor Phil Murphy to appear on Jersey Matters anytime. Still to come on Jersey Matters, how the restructuring of Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield will affect its 3.6 million members in New Jersey. We get answers next.